Hey, this is just Ben on the front end, here to tell you to give the podcast a rating if you don't mind, and follow it or subscribe to it on whatever you're listening to this on. If you want to send us an email, we'll read it and maybe talk about it on the show. It's deadensigns@gmail.com, and we got a Twitter. Anyway, if you could do all that, please. That'd be really nice. Bye, enjoy the show.
Simon & Schuster AudioWorks presents Star Trek: The Next Generation.
River. I built a desk on yesterday.
What?
I built a desk.
You built a desk?
Yeah, I got a desk. I've been doing these like model kits and stuff.
Yeah.
And,
Did you get
like,
a bigger
at my
desk?
computer desk,
Mm-hmm.
which doesn't have a lot of space, but I make do. But now I'm gonna try and paint a thing, and I'm like, well, I don't want to do that at my my desk. I don't want to get paint on shit. So I bought a desk. I bought like a drafting table sort of desk, so the thing comes up at an angle, so I can use it for like drawing as well.
Yeah. So you can do architectural plan
So
build. Yeah. So
I was getting so pissed off though, dude.
yeah. Did you?
I was putting it together. There was a point. It came in like 2 bits. You got the base. And then you can change the height of it, so you can make it like a standing desk, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So I slide the top bit on. Doesn't fucking want to go.
Did you? Were you
Doesn't wanna
like?
fucking go into the tubes.
Did you want like instructions uncleared? Penis stuck in toaster. Right. That's what you,
Yeah, I did. I
that's
did say
you
that.
did that. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I did say that. I actually went on Reddit and I said it as well. And do you want to know what? Surprisingly, people didn't like it. Actually. I think they're a bit more self-aware of that kind of thing. You ever have that thing where you're like, oh, I'm totally going to make fun of these people, and they're not even going to realize it, and you do it, and then they very quickly realize that you're making fun of them. You're
Yeah.
like, well, you know what? I got to hand it to them.
And no one, no one is letting you have the joke, right?
Nobody's like me, yeah. I'd start to like kind of embarrassingly double down on it. Like, no, I'm not joking. I mean, I really did it. Please believe me.
Yeah.
And they're just like,
yeah.
fuck
You're
off,
trying to
man.
disguise
Damn
it.
it.
You're trying to disguise it as a different joke, like a multi-level joke, but the
Yeah,
joke
I'm
was very
actually-
simple. It was a very
Yeah.
simple joke.
Exactly.
Yeah, there's depth to this. You're like, no, there is more.
No, there's more. Trust me.
Trust
Believe me. Please just start upvoting my
This
thing
is-
because you thought
this
it was
is-
funny.
This is actually just a commentary on the original joke. Okay.
Yeah. It's parody. It's satire. Please, you have to believe me.
Yeah. You
And they're
realize-
not buying it.
Yeah, they're not buying it. They don't think you're that smart.
They're not buying it.
But it's good. How did you assemble it? Did you get it?
I did. I got
Yeah.
annoyed because when I had to put the 2 parts together, the base and the desk itself, the top, the flat bit, I put it in, try and slide it down the like tubes that it needs to go in.
Yeah.
Motherfucker doesn't go down. I have to get out a can of WD-40. I'm glad I had a can of WD-40.
Classic manly.
That I just bought on a whim ages ago.
I
was
drink
like, I could probably-
WD-40 every day.
You just
That's
hold
right.
it up to
Yeah.
your mouth like a breath spray, and you're like, and then you oil, yeah, and then your jaw is like nice and loose.
Yeah, nice.
It's like it's not squeaking anymore.
Yeah.
I got that out. They usually come with a little straw. Don't know where it went. Straw wasn't there, so I'm
well.
like, fuck me. I just have to like spray it like a mist, like deodorant on my fucking on this desk.
Under your armpit. Psst, psst.
Put a bit on, starts to go down. Put a bit on, starts to go down. Put a bit
Yeah.
more on, get it all the way down. And I'm
Mm.
like, yes, okay. But it's got the little like twisty things, on the side so that you can adjust the height and then keep it in that position.
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right, let me pull it out. The motherfucker is stuck. I'm like, what happened to all the
Yeah.
fucking WD-40 I served to you, huh?
You ate it up. It
All
took-
that shit you drank.
Drainage, man. That's what happened.
So I'm like trying to yank the thing up. I have to act like a car jack. I have to stand on the like bottom, the leg bits, and then put my hands underneath. I have to like squat down, and then I have to like start trying to stand up. My back does not feel great today.
Yeah, and
Not
the
like bad back, but ache,
You're like swearing and screaming. You're like, "You're fucking
I
cunt.
was.
You bitch."
Dude, I was turning into...
camera zooms out, looks at your neighbor's apartment below, next to you, and they're like hidden, and they're like scared. They're like, "Should we call the police?"
100%.
Maybe we shouldn't get involved.
Those sound like damn John Blackstone from Shogun, bro.
Yeah. It's like
I was going
slap.
crazy.
He's like,
"You son of a mother's whore.
Yeah,
you fucking cunt, you little bastard. Fuck you." I was fucking wrenching up. And then I got it up, and then I put the screws in. I got it to a reasonable height. It's like the same level as my current desk. I'm like, okay, cool. Look at the instructions booklet. I was supposed to get my penis stuck in it.
Oh, there was like, yeah.
There's a little visual of a stick guy with his dick jammed in the thing.
That's why it was going down.
I'll just skip
that's why you were so struggling to put that rod into the other pipe.
Yeah, exactly.
You're supposed to use your penis.
I was supposed to put my thin, small penis in there to stop it. No, I look at it and it says do this step with 2 people. I'm like, okay, all right.
Yeah,
I don't have to. All right, I'm sorry, I don't have to.
Yeah,
okay, I'm just gonna have to do it with one.
Actually, it didn't say it wasn't find another person to help you. It was find a person with a smaller penis that can fit in the hole. If you don't have that's the visual that it was actually.
And then it said in big bold letters, "Not a child, not a child, adult only."
Adult
I was
only.
like, well, duh. I was
yeah, exactly.
Well, the desk is there. It's all built up and stuff. It's
That's good. Then did you use it? Did you already test it out?
Nah, I probably won't.
You christened it by painting something on it?
Nah, I probably won't.
Yeah, that's good. It's always good to start a project and then never finish it.
It kept me busy for an afternoon,
Yeah, it's like, when you've hit midlife crisis and you hit that, I'm going to buy a project car.
And then midlife crisis.
And then it hits, it's just stuck in the garage for 5 years. Nothing's been done to it.
I'm going to use it. What I wanted to do was build it Saturday and then use it on Sunday, but I forgot I had booked tickets to go and see the movie Drive Away Dolls in the middle of the afternoon. So I was like, well, I don't want to build this thing in the evening.
Yeah, because you'll be all sweaty.
That and also my neighbors will be hearing me banging around bits of metal and going, fucking shit.
Yeah.
Cunt.
You're going out of your apartment, you're putting the key in the door, to lock your apartment. You look to the side and your neighbors are little tiny crack of the door, looking at you, and then it shuts suddenly.
I look over, they've drilled a hole in the wall and they're watching me. I can see their eyeball right up close.
Blink, blink, like their eye blinks.
Yeah. And the worst part is that I turn, I see them, I'm looking into their eye, and they don't even run away. They don't even leave. They're because they know in this situation they've got power.
They're already. So you just put up a painting in there. Their eyes are aligned with the paintings.
Yeah, I thought that would be fun.
You might as well make a good out of the situation.
May as well do a classic trope,
If you
the
can.
eyes follow you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that happens. But hello
Speaking
everybody.
of Drive Away Dolls was funny. I'll talk about it in a second. Let's go over the intro.
Yeah, hello everybody. This is Dead Ensigns, a Star Trek skewed. Oh, it's doing so much lifting, so much heavy lifting.
2 more weeks, bro. Hold on.
Yeah.
I
do have a Star Trek related thing.
2 more weeks and Discovery will be out, but 3 more weeks and then we'll talk about it.
We'll talk about it. Yeah, and then. I hope you guys.
What's
stay
your
around.
Star Trek related thing? Also,
You'll
who are
see
you and
later.
who am I? Who are you and who
I'm Max, and this is my friend Ben. I'm the eyes on the other side of his walls, and he's the guy in the pot.
And I'm the ears. The eyes on the ears.
The painting, it's got moving eyes. It's got little ears that are moving.
It's a profile. A portrait in profile. A portrait in profile, and you got one hole for where the eye that's right up, and then a hole that somebody's just slipped an arrow inside of.
Exactly. You could just do so much stuff with that. There's like
And also,
a
they cut
hand
out
that
a
you
mouth
can...
hole so you can lick through the picture and be like, like a freaking freak, man.
Well, that's
freak.
just a growly... That you're just describing a glory hole at this point, but you know.
A what?
Glory hole.
You said Growly hole.
I don't know why. I couldn't say
I was
it.
imagining Dave Grohl from Foo
Yeah.
Fighters. I was like, what the fuck you mean a Growly hole?
Well, if that's what you wanted it to be, then sure. But yeah, you just stuck your penis in it, like the instructions say. But yeah, you know. Anyway, let's talk about. Are we talking about the
Let's
issue?
go through some. It sounded like we all had pretty big. The issue? What?
The movie that we both watched, I guess.
Well, no. Well, that would be too much of a draw.
Okay.
It sounds like we've both had pretty big weeks for media consumption,
Consuming media.
and some of it I'd like to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
Some of it I'll just be like, it was pretty good. Like I watched Pat Labor 1 and 2. They were both very good movies. Don't have much to say other than ACAB doesn't include mech cops. Mech cops are cool, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Those ones are fine. In fact, have more of them. I'm sure that won't be a problem.
Yeah.
It's kind of what the second movie is sort of about how the you don't need to militarize the police. But you know, never mind. But Pat Labor was good 1 and 2. But I watched a new movie. I watched a brand new movie on Saturday.
What year is Pat Labor from? Like what years was it? Like
the first movie I think is 1989.
Mm-hmm. That's when cops were still good. I think.
Yeah, cops were okay, especially in Japan.
Yes,
you know, and then 1993 is the second one, and it's like you can really feel like the change in tone between the movies. Pat Labor, the first movie, is like, you know, it's got good. I mean, it's a Mamoru Oshii film, so it's directed by the guy and written by other people, obviously, but it's directed by the guy that directed Ghost in the Shell.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, it's got some good, strong themes about what's the word? Not like what's the word? Not like gentrification, but like the kind of like acceleration that Tokyo had, you know, post World War II.
Yeah.
It was like constantly like tearing down the old and bringing in new and stuff.
Yeah.
Modernization, I suppose.
Yeah. It's rapid development and
development, that kind of thing. But that's more of like you know, a mystery thing where there's like an evil hacker bad guy who's set up a thing to make all the robots go crazy. Basically. But the second one is like there are no robots in that thing. I think there's maybe like a total of maybe 20 minutes of robots in that 2-hour movie. Most of it is just like a political thriller about how about a terrorist essentially setting up a scenario in which Japan what's the word? Invokes martial law, you know, and revokes certain areas of their constitution so that they can have the military police instead of just regular police, you know?
Yeah.
And you can really see the evolution for the creators because it sort of reframes the mechs as being unnecessary, you know? It's they existed because they the thing with Pat Labor is like we need a mech police force because we have mechs in the world now that are used for like industrial work.
Yeah.
But obviously that does introduce the fact that people will also use them for crime. So we need a way to counteract that. We need like our own mech force to deal with that. But then in the second movie, they're like, we finished the big project that needed all the mechs, so mech crime in Tokyo is basically non-existent.
So we don't need that anymore.
You don't really need them. Like, we have them, but they rarely get used.
Mm-hmm.
But then, as the story goes, it's like, there's some strange terrorist attacks. There's some I think you would like the Pat Labor, especially the second movie. I think you would enjoy it, because it's very, there's a lot of like more realistic portrayal of like attacks on a city from like military equipment, like fighter jets and stuff, you know?
Yeah.
But like the way it portrays that, it's not like showing like dogfights or anything. It shows how it looks from like a command room sort of thing, where they've seen that there are, what's the word I'm looking for? Like enemies, essentially. Jets flying towards Tokyo and how they're like trying to intercept them and stuff with their own jets.
Yeah.
It's good. It's a very good movie. It's a really, really good movie.
Wait, but is there a show? Is there a show, right?
That's the thing. It starts out like cartoony and kind of goofy. The show is just like, here is a group of police mech cops,
Okay. And do you need to have watched the show, or can you just watch the movies?
I would say at the very least you should watch the OVA series, which is like 7 episodes. It sets out pretty well. There's some goofy storylines, like one where they have to deal with a big giant, like big strange like monster.
Okay.
But then there's also like a pretty good episode that's more in line with the later stuff, where it's like a terrorist, or maybe not a terrorist plot, but more like a coup attempt.
Yeah.
That's underway, and they need to like find a way to stop it.
Yeah.
But that stuff is like a little more cartoony, a little more just like fun character stuff with cool mech stuff and interesting storylines.
Yeah.
But the movies after that, so I would say watch the OVA series, which is like 7 episodes, and then you can watch Patlabor, the first movie, and the second Patlabor movie.
Well, I also watched something that's
What did you watch?
tangentially related to
Yeah.
Amuro Oshii, is something that made me kind of angry and kind of... I don't know why I didn't stop watching it. I think it was more to do with my when I kind of start things, I tend to finish them especially with like watching media, even if it sucks dick.
Sure.
But this was a movie called In the Aftermath. And
what's the relation to Mamoru Oshii here?
Well, I'm going to tell you.
All right, okay.
The reason for the relationship between the actual... Basically, they bought like distribution rights for Angel's Egg, which is like a movie by like a short like what they call like an anime movie, right? So it's like shorter.
OVA.
OVA, yeah, exactly. I'm
looking at it. OVA, Angel's Egg.
Angel's Egg, and because they kind of it wasn't very popular at the time. Like anime wasn't popular at the time in America. They took that and they cut it with like random scenes of like a apocalypse movie.
Okay.
So it cuts between like the amazing, beautiful animation of Angel's Egg to like literally the most cheap ass looking like apocalypse like movie, wasteland movie.
Yeah, I'm looking at In the Aftermath.
Yeah.
Angels Never Sleep.
And
What the fuck?
it's got a really cool poster, honestly. The poster is pretty cool. But like all of that artistic value is like extracted out of it completely, you know? It's so weird because it's like it's trying to like they're trying to kind of like weave the plot of the actual Angel's Egg into like this like short film that they're making between these like between the jumps because it's like 2 dimensions basically. Like the main character from Angel's Egg is like helping the main character from the apocalypse movie that they add onto it, you know, in the aftermath, right? And and the thing is that like I can't even like describe it, right? Because it sucks. It's terrible, right?
It's just bad. All right,
it's just awful, right? Because
maybe I should check out Angel's Egg. Angel's Egg is already like 71 minutes, dude.
Exactly, you know. So they add like 10 minutes or like 20 minutes of like apocalypse scene movie.
Well, from the looks of it, it looks like they edit out a lot of stuff. Because I'm looking at Angel's Egg is 71 minutes. In the Aftermath is 72.
Yeah. They shortened the actual I guess they just went like, you we don't need this, or something. We don't need this beautiful animation, and we don't need this. We'll just put in like a fucking guy wandering around the old fucking refinery. It's like it's like it sucks so horribly.
Actors working on the live action segments had no idea how their footage would be cut with, and were given very little direction.
It's like it's like anti-art, it is like I can't even describe the idea of like you take this amazing beautiful piece of work and you go like, nobody's going to watch this, I'm going to I'm going to shit on it, I'm going to edit like actual shit into it,
Neither director Colpert nor producer Tom Dugan understood the original film, calling it incomprehensible enough to shoot live action segments in order for it to make more sense. That's fucked, bro.
And it doesn't make more sense. It's just so fucking stupid. And I was like watching it. I was trying to. I couldn't watch it. I was like on my phone at certain points because I couldn't like focus on it because I was on top. Not only was I bored, I was angry watching it. Like just the idea of like I remember I started it and it has like. It's just like I randomly clicked on it because it had like 4.5 stars on like Amazon, like
and fucking everything on
Amazon. Yeah, I know, but it had
bro.
quite a lot of reviews, 60 reviews, a lot, I guess, for Amazon for like a small movie, movie nobody heard of, and I start watching it. It's like this animation is it's beautiful.
Yeah.
And then it cuts to like some schmucks wandering around the fucking refinery. I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
That's so fucked.
And it's just like, it's. I don't know why, but it's the people that made that decision, like the same producers that literally read the quote from like. This is incomprehensible, and I need to change this. Are the same people that are like, oh yeah, AI is gonna revolutionize filmmaking. It's the same people that are like, oh yeah, we don't need crew or people or creativity anymore. It's the same sort of people.
I'm gonna watch Angel's Egg after this.
Exactly. I was like, I should probably watch Angel's Egg, but I was late, and I was just like so like. Done. I was exhausted after I've watched this, but it's funny that it like at least we watched something tangentially related to itself, in the stupidest way possible,
If you want any more Mamoru Oshii, I would recommend the OVA series for Patlabor, and then check out the two movies because they're like genuine. The first Patlabor movie is good and has a really good climax to it. Very nice action and stuff. Very nice direction.
Yeah.
But the second Patlabor movie is like just stellar, just like a masterpiece. I think I prefer it to Ghost in the Shell as far as Mamoru Oshii films go.
Yeah.
But really well done. Really good evolution of the characters as well.
So many things. We have so much to talk about.
All right, let's speed run it a bit, okay? I watched a movie called Monster. Film about you know what? I'm not going to give it away because it was a good reveal and something that you can kind of pick up on as the film goes along. But it was a good Japanese film. Who's the real monster? At first you're thinking the main kid might be the monster.
Okay.
And then it's like, as more is revealed, no, his teacher is a monster because he's been abusing him. Then flip, you stop watching it from the mother's perspective. You're watching the film from you're seeing the narrative from the teacher's perspective now. Now all of a sudden, he's not the monster at all. But you're learning maybe the principal is the monster, or this other kid is actually the monster. Then flip again, you're seeing it from the kid's perspective. You don't know who's the monster. Let me tell you, it's society.
Oh, of course.
Society is the monster.
Society is the monster.
But it was a good movie. It was a very beautiful movie. Very touching. I'd recommend it. I don't want to give it away, but no, it was good. It was a good movie. I also watched a movie on Saturday. I watched the new Ethan Coen movie, not a Coen Brothers joint.
Ooh.
Important to remember. This is after their split a few years ago. Drive Away Dolls, also known as Drive Away Dykes, as the
Ooh.
film has at the ending. That's what they were going to call it, but I think they were like, nah, we'll call it Drive Away Dolls. But then at the end of the film, title card, Drive Away Dykes. That's the one they kept. It was a very fun movie. I don't think I would say it is a good movie in the sense that I think it's probably one of the weakest Coen projects I've seen, and especially if you compare it to Joel Coen's movie that he did during their split up, the Macbeth adaptation.
Yeah.
Certainly much weaker, but I don't think it's trying to be like a. I don't think not to say that it's not trying to be a good movie. I don't think it's trying to. It feels very clearly intentionally like a B movie. The budget's not very high. It's really corny. It's really graphic. It's got lots of like sex in it.
Oh.
Lots of sexual jokes and stuff. Lots of like actual just sex. It's got a good Matt Damon in it. Not like
good Matt Damon. Not a bad one.
In it. But it was just, I thought it was just funny. I'm looking at it. I don't think a lot of people like this movie because it's stupid and it's edited weird. It's got a lot of like really stupid transitions, like screen flip it, like fucking Windows Movie Maker.
Oh well, you gotta use them. It's nostalgic at this point.
Funny.
You might as well use them.
It's funny. It's like it's edited in such like a way that it's really corny. It's very clearly they're going for like a B movie approach. But it's just charming because of that, It's funny. The characters are interesting. They got good chemistry with each other. It's not like super interesting. It takes some turns that are really funny, but I don't want to give it away. But it's like two late 90s, two lesbian women decide they want to get out of Philadelphia, so they go to a drive-away service, which is you take this car, drive it down to this place. Give it to the person that needs it, and then you're in that place. It's like a two birds, one stone.
Yeah, it's like a transportation service where you kind of. It's at the same time it's public transport in a way, sort of thing. Yeah,
but the car that they take, they weren't supposed to take it because it's not got a body in it. It's got a briefcase in the boot.
Ooh.
where the spare wheel should be.
Yeah.
And there's something mysterious in there.
It's the briefcase from Pulp Fiction, and
one of the women, very sexually liberal, fucks everybody. Has lots of sex. The other woman, very sexually restrained. Hasn't had sex for like 4 years or something. I can't remember. They make a point about it in the movie. And it's, it's about them growing, learning about each other, changing slightly from it and stuff. It was just a good movie. Is it worth maybe taking a trip to a cinema? Maybe not. But if you see it and you're like, you know what, I got like 80 minutes to kill.
Yeah.
Take it on. It's fun. It's a fun movie. Drive Away Dolls.
Recommended.
Thumbs up from Ben.
From Ben.
And also sexy.
It's so sexy.
So much sex in it.
The best movie to get a boner in a cinema with.
Right. That's why I wouldn't go to the cinema to see it, because I wish I was home right now.
5 boners out of 5 boners.
5 out of 5 erections.
Oh, brother. Anyway. What else did you see? Let's go. Let's write. Sorry, I took too
a movie
long.
About a guy. A movie about a guy who tries to infiltrates feminism, feminist movements and sexual liberation as a way to, because they closed down all the porno cinemas, like porno cinemas. He wants to put more sex in normal movies and hopefully then full sex in normal movies, so he can so he can relive that.
Okay.
That's my
not quite seeing the through line, but conceptually interesting.
Yeah,
if very schlocky.
Yeah,
and kind of exploitative.
I know.
But funny. Well, funny. Anyway, what else did you see? Let's go, Max.
We'll get like some a good director. I don't have to do it.
Yeah. Somebody else
I
will figure
watched,
that
I don't know, do you want a good movie or a bad movie?
Let's
I should've-
lightning round both. Let's go bad movie first.
Bad movies first. I guess I'll go with our Star Trek theme, Sheborg.
Okay.
I watched that. I did show you a
Give it a
picture
quick.
of it.
Give me a quick.
It's
round
a very low budget film. It seems like people just kind of making it because it's kind of like fun for them, sort of thing. You know, it's like although I wouldn't.
A bit of a larf. Is that it?
Yeah, it's like a bit of a laugh between friends rather than anything that anyone can really consume and be like, yeah, didn't waste my time watching this sort of thing. You know, it's got I wonder if Borg is like Borg can't be like a trademark term, can it?
No,
It can't.
a Borg? No, it's just a contraction of cyborg.
Yeah, that is true.
Or a
yeah.
suffix from cyborg, I suppose.
Yeah, and it's they're doing a lot of like Star Trek references, throw Janeway, or throw Spock in there. She had there's a character, she's wearing like the T-shirt, and when she sees the aliens, she does the this Vulcan salute at them, and it's like, oh boo, and that's but the rest of it is just a very low budget, like kind of schlocky slasher film sort of thing.
Crash lands into a local puppy farm and begins turning people
Yeah,
into machines.
the puppy
that feed on
farm.
Puppy flesh. Dylan and her BFF Eddie have to decide whether or not to take on the Sheborg menace.
Yeah.
And save the world.
Yeah,
So they are a Borg type. Is that the idea?
Yeah, that they assimilate people. Yeah, that's why. So it is kind of like,
Sure.
it's clearly a reference to, and it's very low budget. It seemed like they were having fun making it. So
Hard to hate because of that. Hard to
it's
be
hard,
like, well,
yeah,
you know.
yeah.
They
But
were
at the
just doing
same
their thing.
at the same time, it requires a lot of you to watch it.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's not an easy watch. Let's say that in terms of being a good piece of media. But yeah, that's a
What's the good film?
good film, Dream Scenario with Nicolas Cage. So I
like that film.
really enjoy that movie. Yeah.
It wasn't amazing, but it was a good film about mimetic culture and the internet.
Yeah, exactly, definitely.
I liked it.
And kind of how we, at the same time we can become it, but at the same time it can influence us, and then we can influence it accidentally.
I think dreams are a good way to frame it because I mean the movie does a good job of likening mimetic sort of culture and jokes and stuff to that of a dream.
Yeah, definitely.
And the way, I mean, it's literally a movie about Milkshake Doug.
Yeah, it is absolutely.
At the end of the day, everybody's like, this guy's so goofy and funny, but then they're like, I had a dream where he was evil, and they're like, damn, really? What do you say about that dream guy? I'm sorry, but people keep having bad dreams.
Yeah, and then he makes the mistake at the end where he manifests the nightmare in a way, and yeah, that final scene of him like sitting there with his book is just fucking soul crushing a little bit. Yeah. Honestly,
it reminds me a lot of it makes me think a lot about I mean, it's a story that you can point to the real world parallels a lot with
yeah, definitely,
people who become popular memes, and then like marketing agencies and publicists and stuff, and agents try and to capitalize on that, and it fucking goes horribly wrong, and they like milk that shit for whatever small dime it's worth, and then move on. But it reminded me a lot of the Best Worst Movie Ever, the Troll 2 documentary. It really made me think about that guy in that, who's like, he would just moved on. He made that bad movie, and then he moved on with his life. He finished dental school, became a dentist, but then you get to see that real world version of this movie that's like, he realizes this almost like separate reality in which people adore him for his awful stuff that he did. and you get to see that kind of like growing and starting to feed off it, and the way it like influences the psyche and stuff. But then that kind of drips away. Like the more you lean into it, the less a lot of people like it, and
definitely.
you end up like harming your own psyche by doing it.
Yeah, well, like definitely, like he literally.
This
does
is a more
that,
modern version of it. In that, at one point, his publicist is like, "We're thinking of taking you in an alt-right angle."
Yeah, that's
you know?
really funny. That's great.
Like, that's the internet meme trajectory pretty much.
Yeah, it's yeah.
You gotta consider just becoming like a rightoid or something.
Yeah, and it's like he tries to influence it. He tries to hope to steer it in the direction, but in the end, you can't really do it. It's not
you can't. It's like trying to profit off of like a dream. It's difficult. Yeah. It's ethereal. It's you can't really get a grip on it to profit off it in that way. You know.
Mm-hmm.
You need to just like forget. You need to accept that people are doing it and then try and move on.
Yeah.
Oh, well, no, it's good. I forgot about it. I forgot about Dream Scenario. Yeah. It kind of just came out. Kind of just came and went. It feels like
it's great, and it's the performance by Nick Cage too is really really good.
Classic Nick Cage performance. Yeah. Yeah, well, I'm glad you saw it and glad you liked it, dude. You also saw Poor Things, right? Let's go quick.
Yeah,
Poor Things. Another film with just lots and lots of sex.
Lots and lots of sex. Yeah, I was going to make a joke about it, but I didn't want to spoil the fact that I'm going to bring up Poor Things. But,
sorry, I didn't realize.
Yeah, but the thing about it is that, like, yeah, I don't. Emma Stone's performance is pretty good in this, but
it's fine. I think technically it's very impressive because she's supposed to be playing like an evolving character, you know?
Yeah, definitely.
A very drastically evolving character in that scene by scene, she's kind of her outlook on the world is supposed to be growing and changing.
Yeah,
but in terms of her like at the actual performance itself, it's fine. It's all right.
Yeah, it's definitely.
But I can imagine it's very technically. It's very like it seems like a difficult task to portray.
Yeah, and I do have a bit of a gripe with this movie.
Yeah.
Like, and it's something that actually my mum brought up because she also watched that movie. It's my mum worked with people with disabilities all her life, basically, in special needs school, and she brought up a good point, which is she's not portraying a child in this movie at the beginning of the movie.
No, not at all. Not at all.
And we are kind of, I guess, when I was talking to her about it, it's like, I wonder if they did it the way they portrayed her the way they did in this movie to make it, I guess, should I spoil this or are we doing it spoiler free? Basically, I don't know.
I'm not that bothered. If you don't care, then I don't. Really
I don't care that much, but it's
Poor Things spoilers. Be careful.
Yeah,
skip ahead like 10 minutes.
It's like honestly, it's like 15 minutes into the movie. I was thinking when you were
you mean the thing
it,
about how the brain and stuff.
The brain. Turns out it's the brain of the woman that attempts to kill herself. She's pregnant. The child's brain gets put into the body of her mother.
Yeah, because the baby survived. Willem Dafoe made a weird Frankenstein lady.
Exactly, and then she like regresses, right? She's supposed to be kind of like a baby thing, but
well, it's not that she regresses.
She's different. She's develops,
supposed to be a baby in an adult's body.
Yeah, exactly. And then she's got this accelerated, kind of development stuff.
Development, I guess.
So it's kind of that backdrop and the entire for coming back to the point I was making, it's I feel like they make her act the way she did to make it a little bit less disgusting. Basically, the concept of it, because it's a very I was watching the movie and I was like accepting the kind of ideas of it, right? The points that and the themes that it was following. But in the back of my mind, there was this thing that it was constantly kind of scratching at my consciousness of like, is this okay? A little bit like, like I was, and it might sound really strange, but I was thinking of like, could someone read something really weird out of this movie? You know, or it could probably like 99% of people won't, but at the same time, it does have like this, you know, literally, you know, you could make a really weird like arguments using this movie, and I don't know, but in general, I really enjoyed this film in general. Like, you know, avoiding this point, let's say, you know, I really like the production, of it. You know, I think like those Oscars were very much deserved in kind of
the technical level.
The technical level was really high.
That nobody cares about.
Yeah, exactly, and I really love the fact that what is he called? The director,
Yorgos Lanthimos.
Yeah, Yorgos. He kept his tradition of making men fight, like male fights, really funny. Like they're really like pulling each other and like wrestling and kind of like it's non-fluid. You know, they're very of like, please don't hit me, but I want to try to hit you, sort of thing. You know, it's it's I really love that. Like when there's like the big brawl during the dance, like when they're just like, he's like Ruffalo is just like, he literally like jumps on the guy and like he's on his back and he's like, and it's like he just looks like a kid, like, you know, trying to it's great, and it's within the theme of the film. It's very well like suits the actual theming of the film too, and in general I really enjoyed this movie. But yeah, that was the initial gripe I described. It's the only thing that I have kind of an issue with. But at the same time, it's based on the book too. Yeah. So
I mean, it's been a bit since I've seen it. It's so I can't say for certain. I think my issues were more in like the character growth of Emma Stone is a bit strange. I think that scene with like the cynicism guy, you know, the pessimist, introduces her to like the horrors of the world, and it's like so fucking corny, you know.
Yeah,
it's
it
like
is very
really
corny.
She's introduced to how horrid the world is, and then suddenly it's like, oh fuck, no, there's a hurt in the world, fuck. But at the same time, I don't think it's supposed to be like preachy. I think that's just like, I don't know, I just have an issue with how it's portrayed. It's really and at the same time, I guess, I don't know.
At the same time, there's another issue I had with this movie, with like, maybe it's more the kind of like, that's the thing, it's more kind of explored in the book, the idea of her, like, especially after that scene that you were talking, she's like, I want to put more good in the world, I want to improve the world, I want to work on making the world better, you know. And then we never see her doing that, kind of like, there's instances of it, but she never.
I guess the idea is that she decides to do it philosophically as opposed to literally.
Yeah, you know? Exactly. You know, that's true.
Which is kind of like, well.
Yeah, you know, but yeah, exactly.
Break.
It's
like, it's, you know, it's fine. It's alright. It's a pretty good movie.
This movie reminded me of like a movie. Actually, I'm not going to talk about it. You haven't seen it, so I'm not going to bring it up. You know, you probably never see the movie that I'm going to reference anyway. I could tell you if you ask me, but
what is it? What movie is it?
Well, it's like a certain movie called Naked Lunch.
Oh, okay. We both watched a movie this week. Well, let's first hold on. This is a big Beatles segment. I feel like our podcast is slowly skewing to be a Beatles podcast.
Dead Beatle.
Well, you know, there's two of us, and so I guess like, that fits.
And it's like literally a picture, and it's like
just a picture of George Harrison.
No, Jesus, with like crosses in their eyes. No, I was thinking of like little Beatles that are flipped on their back. You know,
that's fun.
Yeah, and it's in like a pop, you know, pop style.
I mean, you listen to the White Album. I started listening to the White Album because you tricked me. You said the next one's the White Album.
Yeah.
put it on. I get to a song, they start talking about Paul is the walrus, and I'm like, the hell? What do you mean the walrus? They're starting to talk about the secret about Strawberry Fields. I'm like, what do you mean? I haven't even heard those damn songs. Go out. I didn't even listen to the Magical Mystery Tour.
Yeah,
so that's
for some reason, I also thought that the Strawberry Fields are in the White Album.
There was so much in there, dude. Penny Lane and All You Need Is Love.
Yeah.
All You Need Is Love.
This shows my lackness of knowledge of like
you don't know.
specific shit, you know.
I'm already passing you on the Beatles train, brother.
Sure.
I think it's because like Sgt. Pepper started with like a big intro of like, look, it's like a carnival, haha, and then this one they were also like, time for another carnival. And it's like, all right, brother, you already did the carnival bit. Okay, move on now. Do something else. You got classics like I Am the Walrus, Cuckoo Cachoo. How crazy is that, man? He was the walrus.
Yeah.
Cuckoo Cachoo.
What were those guys on to write this?
Man, what the hell were these guys on when they were writing this? What were they smoking? Okay, so this leads into my next point. Listening to this, it made me realize that I hate the movie Yesterday. We both watched last week. Last week I made a point about like, I'll watch Yesterday this week, and you were like, I'll watch it too. You watched it first, then I watched it afterwards. At first I was like, this movie sucks. It's not good. No, let me rephrase that. This movie is really boring, but it's as far as like a movie goes, it's like structurally it's fine, I guess. It's all there. Makes sense in a way. It's like whatever. It's just a boring, very boring movie. Doesn't do a lot with its concept. I had issues with it, and I think you had a lot of issues with it as well, right?
Yeah.
Let's get into it properly in a bit. But I'm listening to, I just want to frame it. I'm listening to fucking Paul McCartney say, is it Paul McCartney? No, John Lennon. I'm listening to Paul McCartney sing, I'm the Eggman, I am the walrus, cuckoo cachoo. And I'm like, fuck this movie. If a guy came from another universe and started singing this, people would be like, fuck off.
Yeah.
You mean I am the walrus? Fuck you. Especially if he was doing it on his own on just acoustic. If you were if you had never heard I Am the Walrus before and you heard it first time acoustic by one guy, you would be like, I'm gonna kill you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna murder you. This is stupid. Fuck you. And that leads me to my main point. Yesterday, hypothesizes at its heart, really, that the Beatles have a psychic power in their songs.
Yeah,
and that is that their songs,
like media, like
they are above the idea of creating art and media.
They're the God particle of music.
They are the God particle. They're the fucking life equation from fucking Justice League. If nobody knew the Beatles and somebody started singing them, that guy would be the most popular. Not even a popularized. He would be the most popular artist in the world immediately.
Immediately. And in the Discovering a new season of Discovery, the thing that the one piece they're looking for is going to be like a new Beatles album unreleased. It's
going to be the long lost Beatles album. They launched it into space instead of release it, and it drifted for 1,000 years.
Yep, that's what it's going to be. So
it's got I Am the Walrus 2 on it.
Yeah. Walrus Harder or something,
Yeah, go on. What were you going to say? All right.
No.
But here's the thing. When I watched this movie, I was like, this movie is boring. Conceptually, I find it interesting, but it doesn't do anything with any of the stuff that I have a vague interest in an engaging way. So I'm just bored pretty much the entire time.
Yeah.
It's like, it's a movie about a guy who ends up in a different world where the Beatles and a lot of other stuff doesn't exist, but the world is basically the exact same regardless.
Yeah.
So he can do a thing, and he can just be the Beatles. There's a great bit where he's like trying to remember Eleanor Rigby, and he's like, "Fuck, I can't remember Eleanor Rigby taking a dump in the toilet in the church where she was wedded."
Yeah.
It's like, no, fuck, I can't remember. Fuck. Oh, it goes home, remembers 80 other Beatles songs
Yeah.
instead.
The
It's
more,
like, okay,
I
bro.
guess, I guess it's implying that it's like because it's like more wordy, so you can't like remember
It's
all
just
of
too
it.
it's just too
Eh,
lofty to remember.
yeah, it's
it's
too
one of the
mo-
more conceptually dense.
It's not obladi
Beatles tracks.
oblada.
Yeah,
Life
no,
goes
no,
on.
obladi, oblada. That one's so
Yeah.
easy.
Yeah.
Obladi, oblada, de babi boo bee boo, to
Yeah.
the market. Fuck this,
And
man.
it's,
I hate the Beatles. I was listening to this Magical Mystery Tour and remembering this movie and just getting. I was starting to be like, you know what? Fuck the Beatles too. Fuck this. Fuck all
Yeah.
of it.
You're
This shit
removing the
sucks.
Beatles. If I could go back in time and no,
It stands for everything I disagree with when it comes to creative pursuits.
Yeah. The thing that it's so weird because I genuinely thought this movie is going to be like it's going to do something kind of, I don't know, like something a little bit more interesting with it. Like you say, it is like literally the Beatles have like the songs themselves, like they're fucking like barred fucking songs from D&D. You know,
Yeah,
it's like
you play one and people like stop and listen and
Yeah.
they're like, "Holy fuck,
Yeah,
that's the most
man,
beautiful
you know.
thing I've ever heard."
It's
what was
the,
that?
The movie,
And then he's like, "That's the best song ever. It's from the
Yeah.
Beatles." They're like, "All
Yeah.
right, mate, okay,
All
it's
right,
not that
yeah,
good.
well,
All right, no,
yeah.
actually, it's not that good. Fuck you."
The thing is that like like I've written like I've literally like I said it to you. I like wrote it out and said this movie is just the wrong way down the one-way
It is
street
100%.
Lemmy sketch,
Yep.
but stretched out to a fucking
An entire
2
movie.
hours. I don't remember how long this
Bro,
movie is because it just feels like that.
It's 2 hours. I
It
got 10
is,
minutes
right?
in and I was like, okay, it set up everything you needed to know. Guy's kind of down on his luck. Musician that's not very popular, He's got a girl that likes him, but he seems oblivious to it, which, by the way, this is
She's
easily
he's
easily the
least oblivious
stupidest,
thing. Yeah.
most oblivious, dumbass character in a movie ever.
Yeah.
100%. This guy, it doesn't
Yeah.
make any sense that he's
It's
like
like-
this. It
it's-
makes zero sense.
It's
Anyway.
unfunny how
It's
like
seriously like, shut up, bro.
it
Just
looks like
fuck her.
like at this point
She
it looks
really
like
wants to have sex with you.
it looks like abuse from his side at that point,
Exactly.
because he's like, oh, you're like my manager, you like do stuff for me
Yeah,
for
you're
no
like my
money.
friend. And
Yeah.
here's the thing: they drop it a little later in. We're kind of getting ahead of ourselves a bit. They drop it a little later in that it's like, oh, I always thought of you as a sister. I feel like that would track if it weren't for the fact that like one of the first interactions we see with the two of them is a character being like, so have you two basically been fucking each other's brains out all the time? And he's like, no, but she's like, no, not at all. Isn't that weird? I basically said he can fuck me all the time.
Yeah.
He says I'd rather not.
Yeah, it's very weird. And
But then they try and throw like, oh, they're sort of just like brothers and sisters though. And it's like, brother, no, they're not.
nope,
No,
they're
they
not.
ain't.
No,
She
they ain't.
very clearly wants to have sex with him.
Yeah.
And he is completely oblivious to it. Anyway,
Yeah.
I'm getting ahead of myself. Yeah.
Do we want to kind of do
Well,
a
it was just to
synopsis,
finish
or
my
just-
point. We'll
Yeah.
go through it. My point, though, was that I went way off track on. First 10 minutes, it does the thing that all, like, normal, regular, like 80, 90-minute movies do. Sets up everything in the first 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And then you
exactly.
can kind of see where the rest of the movie is going to go, and then you're like, all right, cool. I get 10 minutes in, perfectly set up, go to pause it quickly. This motherfucker's 2 hours long. I'm like, I've got another hour and a half of this fucking
and
crap.
nothing happens for the rest.
I mean,
of the
another
movie.
hour and 50 minutes of
Yeah.
this shit, and and it's like so drawn out. There's so much shit in there that's like this. I don't like to be the kind of person that's like armchair editor. Like, oh yeah, you could cut that scene. Yeah, this movie's too long. You should cut that bit. Cut that bit. This is one where I was like, there's a lot of this film that does not need to be in that.
Yeah.
There's so much of this shit that just doesn't
Yeah.
add anything to it whatsoever. Oh my god, bro. Oh, I hate this movie. It
Yeah.
makes me angry now. Anyway,
It's just-
yeah.
Yeah, and yeah,
Go for it.
I guess the movie kind of starts with this guy, and he's just like a down on his luck musical artist. Although
he quit his job as a teacher so
Yeah.
he could go into music like he always wanted, but his songs suck ass.
So, yeah, exactly. So he's like down on his luck. He gets like he gets to be in like a what's it called, a festival, right? And gets a tent.
He gets to
and
do a
it's like
his tent. He gets to do the kid tent, basically.
The kid tent, yeah.
There's
And
like
it's like the
5
worst
kids just
thing
hanging
ever.
around watching.
Dude, I'm listening to the show. I'm like, no wonder nobody listens to you, because you have like no backing track or any sort. You only have the acoustic, you know.
And on top of that,
Yeah.
the songs are just musically boring. Like, it's
Yeah.
not that he's a bad musician in that he can't play or he can't, like, sing or anything. He can do both of those things. It's just that he basically has no creativity whatsoever. He's
Yeah.
basically the least imaginative person in the entire world.
Yeah. And we get introduced to his like not girlfriend, basically, that just like hangs
Manager,
around
his
him
best
and like
friend from
he
secondary school.
drives him around and stuff,
Drives
and
him
does
everywhere, does
yeah.
everything for him.
Yeah, and he's like, yeah, cool, thanks, you know, and I'm gonna be emotionally unavailable, you know.
I'm so glad you're my friend.
Yeah, thank you for fucking driving me around in your car,
for-
you know.
Yeah.
I'm not
Anyway,
gonna
I
pay
have
you
to go to
I'm not
work.
gonna give you any big gas money, sorry.
Sorry, I don't have any fucking money. I have to work on my part-time shift at the Tesco's.
Yeah, he's like in like he's like more like a Costco, right? Because he's got like the warehouse, like.
No, that's just
So,
because
yeah.
he's in the stock.
Okay. But yeah, it's like boring, you know. He's like blah blah blah. He's so
got,
shit.
he's
so
got a-
bad.
He
Uh,
hates his life, basically.
He hates
the
his
idea that
life.
you're supposed to get is that he's unfulfilled.
He's miserable.
He wants to be
He wants to
greater
give up.
than he
That's
is.
it. At the end, he kind of is like,
Yeah,
oh,
he's
I wanna
like,
give
I
up.
guess I'll stop making music because nobody wants to listen to my great songs like Summer Song.
Uh-huh.
Oh,
Yeah,
fuck me.
and-
I guess I'll go back to teaching. And everybody's
Yeah.
like, don't go back to
And
teaching.
the
He's like,
girl's
"I'm
like,
fucking
no,
gonna
you
do it."
gotta try, continue
have to
trying,
try.
blah.
Anyway, he gets
and-
hit by a bus.
Yeah, because there was like a blackout, and then he gets
A
as the
worldwide blackout. There's like
Yeah.
a solar flare or something
Yeah.
that makes the whole world black out for like 5
Mhm.
seconds. Gets hit by a bus, wakes up. She's already there, and then she's like, haha, you got hit by a bus, prick.
Yeah, ha 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 ha.
Haha, fuck
I
you,
hope, and she's
wanker.
like, I hope your dick works, cause haha, and then
Yeah.
he's like, yeah,
But the
haha.
penis works because I want to have, I want to put it inside of me.
And
And
he's,
he's
like,
like,
ha,
"Oh,
what a
good
cool
one."
joke.
It's like, huh, good one. She's like, I'm being serious. And he's like, yeah, good one, mate. Anyway, he starts singing Beatles, which naturally, obviously, you would do.
He's-
You would
which
reference a
he's-
really obscure
yeah,
Beatles song
he's-
just randomly. You'd be like,
he's
will you
like,
still take care of
yeah.
me when I'm 64?
60
She's like, haha.
I'm like,
What?
what? Yeah.
And he's like,
like,
well, that's
"What you
weird.
mean?"
Who wouldn't understand the reference to that great song off of Sgt. Pepper's Lonely
Yeah.
Hearts Club Band?
Yeah. Exactly, and he's like just a little bit confused, and then
Yeah.
blah blah. He gets out of the hospital. He plays yesterday, right? He played like buy him a new guitar.
yeah.
His friends
They're like,
buy him
come
a new
meet your
guitar.
mates. They're like, play
Uh,
us a song, play us a song. And he's like, yesterday,
Yeah,
all my troubles seem so far away.
yeah,
And now they look like they are here to stay. Oh, I believe in yesterday. And they're looking at him like,
this is
it's straight up, like you said, it's straight up the Lemmy Show sketch where they're
Yeah.
looking at him like,
this is
What?
beautiful.
what was that?
Yeah,
It's beautiful. Your dad
yeah.
would be proud.
you dead proud.
Your dad
Uh,
would be proud. and then, but
you
they're
know-
like, what are you talking? Where did that come from? And he's like, it's Yesterday by the Beatles. It's the best song ever made by anybody ever. And they're like, all right, mate, reel it in.
yeah.
All right.
We don't know any
Yeah.
obscure bands like the Beatles.
He goes home.
you know.
The Beatles don't exist.
Yeah, he starts
Oasis don't
Googling.
exist.
Oasis don't exist.
Coca-Cola doesn't exist. He's in
Yeah.
a different world. He's
Yeah.
like, oh no, am I really going to do this? Am I really going to do this? Am I really going to steal all of the Beatles songs? Yes, I am.
Yes, I
Starts
am.
singing the Beatles, and he climbs to stardom. He ends up on TV.
Yeah.
He's singing.
No-
Ed Sheeran arrives. He's
Yeah,
like,
no, it's,
yeah, I
it's
live
like a
locally.
It's like a local,
A local
TV
station. Ed Sheeran turns up. He's like, "Yeah, I live in Surrey, actually, and I listen
Yeah.
to your song on the TV."
And which
By the way, can I
is-
just say, great. This movie is a great reminder if you want to remember how fucked up Ed Sheeran generally looks. He's so like, I don't want to be too rude because he's not. I'm not saying he's ugly, But there's just something about
on.
Ed Sheeran. There's something about Ed Sheeran. You see when he first appears and you see his face, you're like, oh yeah, this is Ed Sheeran.
How can you say that? That's so
I can
mean.
say it, dude. He's
But
like
I
a
think
trillionaire. I don't
the
care.
worst thing that this movie is implying is
He
that
he could say that shit about me
Ed
if he wants. It's
Sheeran
fine.
in his like $50 million mansion or whatever from
In
the
his
thing,
local Surrey home.
in Surrey
Yeah.
home, is sitting down watching fucking
He's
local
watching
TV
local
stuff.
television and he sees a guy and he was like, I should bring this guy on tour.
Yeah.
He was singing this song that was just
Yeah.
did something. I could feel my brain being manipulated into enjoying his
It's
sound.
It's like Body Snatches, but
It's like
with a
Body
song.
Snatches. And then he's like, do you want to come to Moscow with me
Yeah,
right now?
this is a genius.
That's when you sort of get the tension begin between him and his manager, not girlfriend, because he's like, anyway, let's go to Moscow, and she's like, I can't, I have a job.
I have a job.
I'm a
Yeah,
teacher.
I'm literally a teacher. I can't.
I'm not
leave my
your
students.
full-time manager
Yeah.
promoting your shitty gigs at fucking parties in wedding halls and stuff in
Yeah.
Surrey. I'm a teacher. So he's like, well, all right, then that's where the tension starts to starts to get there. He writes all of Back in the USSR on the plane ride over. Ed Sheeran is like,
This is
how did
beautiful.
you do that? This is like
Yeah.
the best song I've ever
You
heard.
wrote this
And
without
he's
a
like,
guitar on a plane.
All right, everybody, songwriting contest right now.
Yeah.
Let's go. We're gonna each have 10 minutes to write a song, and whoever's song is better wins. Wins the nothing. But
Nothing.
we will have proven that one of us is a better songwriter. And
Yeah.
then Ed Sheeran sings some shit,
some music,
shitty
some
little, like ballad thing.
You could put like square brackets music, and that's
Yeah.
what he plays basically in the
Square
subtitles.
brackets, Ed Sheeran style song,
Yeah.
close brackets.
And
Radio
like,
song, basically.
it plays like 5 seconds of it, and then
Mm-hmm.
it cuts away, and then it shows the guy, and he's like, I don't remember what song he actually plays, but it's of course another
random
stolen
song.
song, you know.
Another Beatles song that he remembered in 10 minutes, even though
yeah.
he couldn't even remember the lyrics to Eleanor Rigby.
Yeah,
Which I'm not
but-
claiming that I can, but if you can remember 80 other Beatles tracks, but not Eleanor
Yeah.
Rigby, that's strange to me. That's a little
Yeah.
bit weird.
But-
he plays it, and then Ed Sheeran is like, he
You
hears
won.
it, and he's like, you won.
Here's my balls.
He's
please.
He goes,
You know.
he gets up, he's like, well, I'm going to go back to my hotel room and hang myself now. Because
Yeah, it sounds
I
like
can't-
it. Yeah,
I can't keep up. There's just,
yeah.
There's no point. There's no point
You're just
to
better.
us existing.
He's just you're just better.
You're
That's
just
what he said.
objectively a better musician than I am, and I'll never be able to keep up.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go back to my hotel room now in Moscow, and I'm going to take as many pills as I can find, and I'm going to end it all.
Yeah.
And you know what? It's good, because you'll still be in the world to carry on to make
Mhm.
everybody happy.
Mhm.
And then he leaves. And
He
kills
leaves.
himself.
Yeah.
Then you met the Kate McKinnon's character. The manager comes up and goes like, "Hey, fucking big dick, you wanna be part
Exploited
of the
in the
music industry? You
Hollywood,
wanna
yeah.
be exploited? Come to California." And he's like, "Yeah, sure." Goes to California, gets exploited.
No,
Kate,
he goes back home,
Well,
and
yeah.
she like tells him like, "Oh, don't go." Like his girlfriend, not girlfriend.
Yeah, she's
And-
like, she basically, that's the point when she confesses, like,
Yeah.
brother, you've been friend zoning me for 20 years.
Yeah, and it's so funny because it's like the worst fucking like he's like in his room, his like childhood room with her, and he's like, and she's like, "Oh, I'm in the like friend column, and I always
Yeah.
wanted to be in the like
In the
gi- girlfriend column." And he's like not saying anything, and then his dad like walks into his room. He's like,
Yeah.
"Your mom's getting drunk, mate. Come down because she wants to make a speech." And he's like, he gets that
he
choose
does
moment,
the-
like he gets the quick time event, like it's the
Sorry,
bar is like
I
emptying
have
slowly.
to go. Something important is happening.
Yes,
my
like-
mum is drunk.
And
And then she's just like, you can see she in that moment the character is having the fuck am I doing?
Yeah, exactly.
It's
This
just
is like
embarrassing.
this is literally like
just, like,
unforgivable.
sad. It's just
like
like,
this is
what the fuck,
unforgivable
bro?
like reaction, you know. And I know this is supposed to be a comedy, but it needs to have a, you know, especially
to
with
have
what
heart.
happens later on in the movie. It's like things have to make somewhat logical sense, and this is like, oh, this guy like doesn't care absolutely.
But also, the
about, you know?
ultimatum just doesn't. It really doesn't make any sense from his point of view, because he's just like, I don't understand why he's so against the idea. You know, it's like, she's like, oh, you're gonna go off and you're gonna become famous and you're never gonna come back to Surrey because it's Surrey and nothing happens here.
Yeah.
But he's like, no, I will, and she's like, no, you won't. And he's like, just be like, just say you love each other, go record your album and come back. I don't understand the problem. It doesn't make any sense.
Because she knows he's gonna be lost in the you know, he's gonna get, what's the,
He's lost in the Beatles' mind.
Johnny Depp film about Vegas?
Fear and Loathing.
Yeah, Fear and Loathing in California, you know, in Hollywood. That's
She
what
knows
he's
gonna be like dick deep in 17 different supermodels.
Yeah, he's gonna get sucked dry, you know, and she
he's
can't
not gonna
compete
want
with that.
Quaint Surrey girl anymore. Quaint Surrey girl teacher. Anyway, he
like a
goes over to
Beatles song.
California. Quaint Surrey girl teacher is a very Beatles-esque song. Anyway, he goes to California. Kate McKinnon is like, we're going to kill you. We're going to put you up on a sacrificial altar and gut you, because that's what the music industry does. And you know what, buddy? If you don't like it, you can fuck right off, because this is the music industry. We do shit fucked up here. We are the most exploitative industry in the world. If you come out of this the other end not dead or dying, then you are in the 1% of musicians who are lucky, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, yeah, right.
Yes, please.
Yeah, sure.
Yes, please.
Yeah, you know what?
Do
I
it.
do want that.
I'll do it.
They start milking him dry.
Yeah.
Then it turns, he finds out. Wait, no.
He
Wait, flip it around. Hold on. He get
reverse it. Flip around.
Reverse it. He so he starts to get some writing block because he needs to write Eleanor Rigby and Strawberry Fields and Penny Lane.
It's not just that. He only because like is this when Ed Sheeran like goes to him and goes like, where is this music coming from, man?
Yeah, there's
like,
a bit when Ed Sheeran killed himself, so I wasn't going to bring it up again.
Yeah, it's his ghost.
Yeah, Ed Sheeran turns up and he's like, I don't believe that you're just coming up with this music. Which, first of all, important to remember, there is no evidence of the Beatles in this universe whatsoever. They literally do not exist. Ed Sheeran there is no evidence anybody anywhere can throw at the main character about this, and he's still worried.
Yeah, like he's like there has to be something like personal for you about these songs, and he's like, yeah, there was like this child I knew or whatever.
He makes up some shit. He doesn't need to. He can literally just be like, "No, I just thought of it. I just thought of it. I don't want to talk
about. I could just say I don't want to talk about it." Ed Sheeran.
He doesn't even need to say. He doesn't even need to be like standoffish or anything. He doesn't need to. He doesn't need to make it sound like it's a big deal. He can literally just say, "I just came up with it.
Mm-hmm.
I just thought of it. What do you want from me? Oh, sorry. Do you not think of your songs, moron? Huh?
Yeah.
Oh, you get some fucker. You get a team of like 15 songwriters to write it for you, prick."
He gets Ed Sheeran. He bullies Ed Sheeran. That would be funny if he just bullied Ed Sheeran.
A quick aside to that point: this movie would have been infinitely better if Ed Sheeran had any backbone and decided, "Can I be a villain in this movie?"
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And
obviously, he didn't want to because that's bad for his brand. He doesn't want to suddenly be like, "Oh yeah, I would be vindictive." But if he had any spine whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
And any ability to act, first of all, actually.
Jesus Christ, yeah.
Then he would have been like,
yeah.
He should have been like, this is how you know he doesn't write his own songs, because anybody who has any sense for writing an interesting story will pick up on it. He should have been in the fucking production meetings for this, going like, can I just be a villain in this? I should be like a prick. I should be like trying to steal his songs and stuff.
Yeah, I'll go
I
to
should
his
like genuinely. I should be evil.
Initially, he goes to his house to firebomb his house.
Yeah.
you
Because
know?
because that's a big thing. The reason why Ed Sheeran needs to be evil in this film is because
There's
currently
nothing in
there
this
is
movie,
no
yeah.
tension in the movie. All of the tension is in the main character's head, thinking that he's gonna get caught, even
Yeah.
though there is literally no evidence.
way.
There is no reason for him to think at any point that he could be caught for this.
Yeah.
But he still gets he's worried that fucking James Corden of all people is gonna do a fucking investigative journalism gotcha.
Yeah.
on him.
Yeah.
He's
James
worried that Ed
Corden.
Sheeran, he's having the bad dream that James Corden is gonna be like, "You little worm, I've found two weird men called Ringo Starr and Paul McCartney in England, and they claim they wrote all of your songs."
Yeah.
But no, that never happens. Anyway, Ed Sheeran is like, "Tell me where you get your songs from," and he's like, places. And Ed Sheeran's like, "Damn, that's so cool."
Yeah, and then he's like, I need
"That's
to
crazy,
make
man."
Yeah, I need to make this a reality. I'm gonna go to Liverpool. I'm gonna go to
he's
Liverpool.
like he's having trouble with a couple of the songs. He can't remember Strawberry Fields and Eleanor Rigby and Penny Lane. And this is why another reason why I was thinking about yesterday a lot, because these songs are the ones that are on Magical Mystery Tour.
Mm-hmm.
He goes to Liverpool. He's like, "I need to go to Liverpool." Kate McKinnon's like, "Why do you need to go to fucking Liverpool? What's wrong with you? Are you stupid? You a moron? What is wrong with you?
There is
Do you have a
nothing
brain
there
in your
for
head?"
you.
There's nothing at Liverpool. There is nothing in Liverpool whatsoever.
Yeah.
He's like, "But I need to go for reasons." He goes on the whole Magical Mystery Tour. He goes to Eleanor Rigby's grave. He goes to Strawberry Fields, and that just triggers it in his mind. Now he remembers the songs enough. But there's a woman who's like following him. She's like
a shadow.
"Interesting. You're going to all of the places in Beatles songs."
She's like a
strange.
dementor, basically.
Yeah.
Like,
There was also a Russian guy who, when he heard Back in the USSR in Russia, he was like, "Holy fuck."
Yeah.
He went home and Googled something in Russian.
Yeah, I don't know.
Which they didn't really explain. He
It's an
goes
Easter
around
egg
all over
for
the place.
the Russian speakers there.
While his last day in Liverpool, his fucking girl arrives. His lady friend turns up, and she's like, "Hey, I just want to come visit." They go, they have a night on the town. They're going all over the place. They're loving Liverpool, and then they're back in the hotel room, and they kiss. And she's like, "No, this is weird. We can't do this." And he's like, "Why not?" And she's like, "Because you had fucking 20 years to do this, motherfucker."
Yeah.
And now you're coming. You think I'm gonna be a one night stand? You think you can fly back to England, fuck me, and then leave? Huh? No.
No.
He's like,
I'm denying you this.
I would rather not. Actually, you had 20 years, didn't take it. Sorry.
Yeah.
They meet in the train station. They meet in the upper
He's like-
crust.
'cause he's like-
Liverpool
'cause he-
Lime Street.
Because he's like, the next morning, he's like, I'm gonna go chase her.
It's like, I need to chase her. I need to get to the airport and chase her, even though it's a train
Yeah.
station. I need to go to Lime Street.
He gets one of the scooters, the electric scooters. No, they had it. They didn't have them in Liverpool at that time. They did. They weren't popular then. That's why they couldn't have them. I don't think they did.
Probably not when they were filming it.
Yeah, exactly.
But
That's what I mean.
Probably when the movie came out in 2019.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Anyway, they have a long conversation that's long and boring and basically amounts to
yeah, it's
you
nothing.
She's like, you have two choices here. You stay here and have sex with me, or go back to America. And he keeps getting called by Kate McKinnon, and he's like, "Just give me a second, please. Just let me think." It's like The Happening. Mark Wahlberg. He's like, "Just give me a second. Just let me think.
I need
Just
a
give me
moment.
1 second. I just need a moment to think." And
The wind is
eventually she's
coming
like,
and
"The
you
fact
need
that
to
you
go."
have to think is proof enough that you don't want to."
Yeah. It's like,
she's
what's the point?
kind of happy. She's kind of like, "Bro,
Yeah,
just go.
'cause-
You know what? I'm
yeah.
over it." She's like, "I'm
And-
over it. Just go. It's okay."
The thing about it is that it's just like, what's the point of chasing her down if you were not going to make? I thought that he like already made the choice, but no, like
He's just an indecisive little worm in the
yeah,
entire
he's a
movie.
worm. That's
little
what he is.
fucking
Yeah,
wiggly little fucking prick the entire movie.
Yeah.
Sucks.
James Corden was right. You're right. Yeah.
James Corden should have fucking did some gotcha
Killed
journalism.
him. Yeah. Kill
killed
him
him on
in the studio.
Killed him on stage live.
Executed him. But yeah,
They,
exactly. You know, and
yeah, he goes back to the US. He finishes the album. They're all laughing at his ideas for album names like Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club and the White Album and Abbey Road, and they were like, "These are fucking stupid. You're a moron. Let's just call it your name solo album,
the one or something, whatever." And yeah, and he's like, he's disillusioned with the process, although they told him
he's like,
that's
hold
what's
on.
going to happen.
He's like, hold on, guys. I'm realizing something. The music industry is evil. It's anti-creative.
Yeah, she literally
Brother,
told
Kate
you.
McKinnon told you. She had a whole conversation where she was in a position like, I own you, telling you that we will own you. And now he's like, fuck, they own me. Fuck.
And
He gets really mad because he gets a call from girl back in England, and she's
he's
like, just so you know, I want to let you know I've started seeing somebody.
I've been
saw
seeing
somebody
the
from
producer
earlier in the
guy,
movie that we
and
didn't
it's the
talk about because it's not important.
It's not important.
She started seeing a guy from earlier in the film. And he gets mad and he yells at Kate. They're trying to tell him some stuff about the album, and he's like, "Fuck off! Fuck you! Leave me alone! Can I have a fucking moment of peace?"
He literally says, "Leave me alone for like 5 minutes."
Yeah,
like,
can you just give me a fucking break?
It's like,
and then
it's like an acceptable, like, you know, amount of
no, because the point is that he yelled it in an angry way, and that is enough for Kate McKinnon, evil manager of evil music company,
telling him that she's evil. Yeah,
she's like, well, okay, all right, you want a bit of alone time? Well, all right, well, you know, I thought that
it'll take longer for you to. Yeah,
I just thought you were a nice guy, but it turns out that you're just an asshole like everybody else.
You're just like everybody else. Yeah, it's
just like everybody else.
What the fuck is going on?
Well, all right, I'll give you your 5 minutes.
Yeah,
because I'm a decent person.
I'm gonna go kill myself now next to Ed Sheeran. I'm gonna hang myself next to Ed Sheeran
and die because of you.
Because of you wanted 5 minutes.
Jack Malik.
They literally like speak for 30 seconds. Like they speak for like 30 seconds, and they're like she's like banging on the door to like the fucking body snatchers to get, and it's like,
I need your opinion on this.
Yeah, it's like just like,
talk to me.
What the fuck am I looking at? Like this is such a like complete dissonance of like, you know, like logic emotionally, you know, like it's, I don't know.
What she wanted to ask him was, where do you want to do the premiere of the album? Because everybody in the world loves your songs because they are psychically powerful. They have a hold on people mentally, and everybody in the world wants to hear. And he decides, you know what? First of all, gonna have it in
Mind
Surrey.
Flayer from fucking D&D.
First of all, gonna have it in Surrey. Second of all, I'm gonna have it on a roof. Except the building that we're shooting this film at doesn't have a roof that you can stand on. So I'm going to have to do it on a stage in front of a roof.
Yeah. It's weird. Yeah.
A little bit like, really, Danny Boy, we couldn't find like an actual building with a roof that he could like stand on. I don't know.
But you know, whatever. He premieres the songs and then
no.
Oh, wait, yeah.
Hold on. First of all, girl appears. She's like, wow, your album is coming out. Yay. By the way, here's my boyfriend. I don't want to fuck you anymore, okay? Really. I mean it, honestly. I really mean it this time, okay? Bad. And he's like, fuck, I missed my shot. Fuck, even though I had like 20 years, and also she was spelling out for me like 2 days ago. Fuck.
Mm-hmm.
But then he goes and does the performance. It's really emotional. It's so emotional that he's like that
it's
she
like, help
hears
me, because he's like, help me,
help me, and she hears it and she's like, fuck, he needs help. Nobody else understands. They think he's singing help me. I understand that he's screaming help me, I need help. Fuck, I'm dying because I'm stealing up music from that didn't exist in this world. Fuck. So she goes in, she kisses him, and then she's like, don't chase me, okay? This doesn't mean I love you. But then the two people from before
Yeah.
who heard him and was like,
The
"Hey, we
Russian
know
and
the
the
Beatles, and the
random
Russian and
British
the random
woman."
lady." They
Yeah.
come in, and they were like, "We know what you've been doing."
Yeah, she has a yellow
We know what you
submarine,
mean.
like a
Yeah,
bath
they got a little
toy.
yellow submarine to show that they know what he's doing.
Yeah,
and
they're
they're like, "We know what you've been fucking doing, you cunt.
Yeah, they
We know
look
what
like
the fuck
they-
you've been fucking
they-
doing.
they
you
are
fucking cunt."
they're shown as if they're like ghosts, like from
They're
Sixth
like
Sense,
they're like
you know? Like
gonna
they're
kill him. They're like ominous.
yeah, they're
They're like, we're
ominous,
gonna
yeah.
fucking get you. They finally corner him, and he's ready to admit it because he's like, "Fuck, I'm miserable stealing these songs that don't exist
Mm-hmm.
and everybody loves and make me millions of dollars, and they don't exist, and I can get away with it scot free." And there's not even a victim here.
Yeah.
There's not even a victim at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
It's not
yeah.
even that he's ripping anybody off. They literally do not exist. There is no issue in this movie whatsoever. They appear. Here we go. Finally, some people that are going to be like,
Conflict.
"What you're doing is bad."
Mm-hmm.
He's like, "I'm sorry, I've been stealing the Beatles. I'm so sorry." Lady's like, "That's cool, man."
The guy also
Like,
is
actually,
"Oh."
we want you to do it more because we're all stupid. We can't play the Beatles.
Yeah, we're not
too
musicians.
stupid. We're little working class dullards. We don't know how to play fucking chords on a guitar.
Yeah.
And we can't sing. We're stupid morons. So we need you to come along and sing
Yeah.
Obladi Oblada.
Yeah, they're like-
Otherwise, how am I ever supposed to hear Yellow Submarine again?
Yeah, the world without Beatles is like infinitely worse.
She says she's like, "You are doing a good thing because
Yeah.
the world without the Beatles is infinitely worse." These
Yeah.
two were ready to kill themselves because they hadn't heard fucking
Yeah, they haven't
Oh,
played their
man.
the Beatles album. It's covered in dust for like 40 years at this point.
they
And
hadn't heard
just
John
now-
Lennon. They never
They-
heard John Lennon go
suddenly-
cuckoo cachoo for so long.
Suddenly, they're the biggest fans
Yeah.
in the world. Like
They're like, "Well, if
suddenly-
I'm never gonna be able to hear fucking Ringo Starr sing about the Yellow Submarine, I may as well
and,
kill myself right now."
And the octopus.
And you
the
know what?
Octopus's garden.
And you know what? Honestly, it makes me sad that everybody around me doesn't even know. They can't even imagine John Lennon singing
They're
"Cuckoo Cachoo." I am the walrus. I am the Eggman.
They're literally the meme of
I'm
the guy
sitting on a
standing in the.
cornflake.
They're literally the meme of the guy standing in the corner, and they the song.
They don't
his
even
songs,
know about
but
the
They don't
Beatles.
even know about
Yeah.
the fact that this is actually not the Beatles, but it's a guy copying the Beatles. Yeah.
So they
That's
turn
what he
up,
thinks.
and even these two, the only two people in the entire world,
the
that
only
know
two
who
witnesses.
the Beatles are,
Witnesses.
the only
witnesses.
two witnesses to this entirely victimless
Victimless
crime turn up,
crime.
and they say, "Go right ahead. In fact, we endorse your actions. We say it's good. We say what you're doing is actually noble. In fact, it's a service to
stupid.
humanity."
Oh,
And they make a
fuck.
couple jokes where they're like, "Oh, you sang the lyrics wrong on this song," and he's like, "Yeah, nah, and this song I can quite get it. You know, it's rough. It was a bit hard." And they're like, they made a joke earlier about how Ed Sheeran was like, "Oh, you should change the words for 'Hey Jude' to 'Hey Dude," and they're
Yeah.
like, "Hey Dude, really?" And he's like, "Yeah, it was Ed Sheeran. Ed
Yeah.
Sheeran told me to say 'Hey
Yeah,
Dude' instead."
evil before he killed himself. Of course.
Before he killed himself, he said I should change the song to "Hey Dude." He said, "I
Yeah.
will kill myself if you don't change the song to 'Hey Dude," and I had to do
And
it.
he
'cause I
still
didn't
did
want
it
to kill
anyway.
myself. And then he
Which
did it
is-
anyway, the prick.
God damn it!
Oh, the fucking bastard. And but yeah, ultimately,
Nothing.
literally two people, the only people in the entire world who could give him any shit for this victimless crime, but it can't even punish him because there's still no evidence of any wrongdoing whatsoever.
Yeah,
And if this came out, people would be like, "These two people are crazy. They're
Mhm.
insane."
yeah.
Literally
trying-
the
they're-
only
they're-
two people who could do anything about this, even minuscule amount of pushback, are like, "Go right ahead, bro."
Tabloids would have been like, this guy has like these two crazy stalkers. Like that's
Yeah.
what they would say, basically.
Yeah, crazy
you know?
people accuse Guy of coming up with
Yeah,
the best
fame-
songs in the world ever,
Yeah, exactly. Jealous,
stealing the
you know?
greatest songs ever made
Yeah,
that didn't exist before
that didn't
he came up with
exist.
them.
Yeah, and yeah, it's just
Oh
he
my
plays
God,
the
man.
concert.
But here's
and
no.
whatever.
Here's what they do. They say, "By the way, we've done a bit of digging. Here's a
Oh,
little piece of
yeah.
paper. He takes a drive. Who does he meet? It's John Lennon. He's still alive.
Yeah, he's
So
in
really,
some
this is the
sale-
perfect timeline. John Lennon
Yeah.
is still alive. Paul McCartney and Ringo Starr are still alive. I guess George Harrison probably still died because that was, a thing. That's just he just died.
Do you
Not like
think
he got killed.
Yeah, so he goes
And
to his
even
house.
John Lennon, even fake John Lennon in the movie,
Yeah,
basically gives him a free pass. He's like,
Yeah.
"Oh, John Lennon, how has your life been?" And John Lennon's been like, "Yeah, my perfectly normal life has been fine. I lived a long
Yeah.
life. I fell in love with somebody. I'm happy. I'm healthy. I'm doing all right, actually.
and
I'm
he,
perfectly
and he
fine."
says, "But you were never famous."
Yeah,
He
he's like,
says
"But you were never
like-
famous," and he's like, "Don't need to be famous." This movie
Yeah, I
is
was
made
happy.
for like a. I
You know-
feel like this movie is made for infants.
Yeah,
Movie is made for somebody with who has not developed past the age of 3, who is
Yeah.
like the ultimate goal is to be famous, right? That's
Yeah.
a life's goal. And then like you have one character who goes, but have you thought perhaps fame isn't everything? And they're like, "Whoa, fuck! You just blew my mind."
You blew. John Lennon himself told
John
me
Lennon
that
himself just said fame isn't everything. Fucking
I like
hell.
the
No,
the
I've got a lot
casting.
to think about.
I was thinking of like this casting call of like
We need
old John Lennon
lookalike.
lookalike, and
Need an old ass John Lennon lookalike.
He's like
Robert
a sailor or
Carlyle.
something. He was like, I sailed around the world. And I was like,
You
all right,
see
it's
it when
John
he
Lennon.
opens
Like,
the door the first time. I kind of got like, it kind of looks like John Lennon. But as the film went on, I was like,
yeah,
this guy doesn't fucking
this
look anything like
doesn't
John
look like John Lennon.
I was like, I can kind of see it, but then as as soon as you look at his face for more than like 5 seconds, you're like, no, this doesn't look like John Lennon.
Yeah, it's pretty funny, but yeah,
There's
he's
no
like
downside.
This
There's
so
no
another
downs-
thing, yeah, he gives him a go ahead basically
He's
again.
fine. He's like, go for it, bro. Everything's fine. You can
Yeah.
have everything you want in
This-
this world.
This movie is implying that John Lennon's death is like worth less than the creativity that like they created, you know, like it's saying that like
if you can,
it was worth it in the
You
end.
can weigh up
you know?
2 things: no Beatles or John Lennon
Alive, a
the
human being
you can
alive,
either
you know?
John Lennon be alive and there's no Beatles, or the Beatles but John Lennon dies.
Yeah,
And the people who wrote this movie are like, fuck, man.
yeah. It's
I mean,
a tough
oh, man.
choice.
I don't know though. Like, there's oh man. Have you thought about the world without a hard day's night?
Or when I'm
Fuck.
64, that
Have you
classic
thought
song.
about, dude? What if? I mean, have you thought about the idea? What if there was no Beatles for sale, man? What if they never had 8 days a week? Have you ever
Jesus.
thought about a world in which you couldn't listen to to Babies in Black? Because I have, and it made me want to.
Ed, yeah,
Jump
I wanted
off a
to.
bridge.
I wanted to Ed Sheeran myself. You know,
cheer myself, bro. Oh fuck. Oh man. I guess I would have to pick John Lennon die. Fuck.
yeah.
There's no other option, really. No other option. Yeah, hard choice. John Lennon dies, definitely. John Lennon dies.
Yeah, well, you
man.
know, and
Anyway,
Yeah.
he calls his friend Ed Sheeran. He's like, "Hey, can I upstage you at your own concert?" And Ed Sheeran is like, "Sure thing, pal. Yeah, whatever you want. I'll do my whole stadium gig, and then I'll
Yeah.
bring you on at the end, and there will be people will be happier. They'll
Yeah,
be like,
they'll be-
oh
yeah.
fuck, I this went from a subpar concert to the greatest concert in the
Yeah.
world. Live
I could do-
versions of
yeah,
Jake Malick's hit songs, "Love Is All You Need" and so on.
I get to see this guy live with
Fuck
Ed Sheeran.
yes.
But
Fuck yes, with that ginger prick, yes, man.
yeah.
I mean,
so-
I won these tickets. I didn't really want to go see him. I was like, man, I don't know. Maybe I'll
Yeah.
just skip that night. I got these tickets for free. I don't really care. But then Jake Malick's there. Fucking sign me up now.
Yeah, yeah, and
He plays the whole
does-
concert.
He
and
plays the whole
then
concert, and there's like a
His whole
weird,
family
like,
is there. Whole family
Yeah,
is there,
whole
including his
family is-
friends, including the
the,
girl.
the woman.
The
But the thing,
girl.
it's such a weird setup. Like it feels like so weird. Like it feels so forced. I don't know what like his roadie like brings it to his like dark room, and
Yeah,
I'm
he's
like,
come with me to the back office.
backstage.
I'm gonna put
Yeah,
a camera on you.
yeah.
Stand
she's
here.
just
Stand
like-
directly in front of this camera, please.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, sure. What's going
Yeah.
on? What's happening?
And
Nothing.
Yeah.
Oh, alright, okay, cool.
He like turns it on, and she's like not reacting to it for like a long while.
She
like,
doesn't
he's,
know
like,
at first, yeah. And then he's
Yeah.
like, "This is my best friend, and also I
I love
I realized after she told me that she loved me that also I love her, it turns out.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
I didn't realize for 20 years, but hey, when in Rome, I guess.
And
I'm
these
sorry.
songs were not written by me; they were written by Paul
I've got it.
Bob
This
Martini.
is it, finally, the confession.
Bingo Bar.
These were written by four
Dude
guys:
Har,
John Lennon, Paul,
Paul Bart, the mall cop.
Paul McCartney, Ringo, and some another
Ringo the dog.
Ringo the dog, and fuck the fourth guy. It's not important. Anyway, the Beatles were the guys that wrote these songs.
Yeah.
I'm from a different universe where they existed. But now
Yeah.
I'm here in your universe where they don't exist.
He doesn't say that. He
exploited
doesn't say. He
Then
just
that's
says
wrong.
that like he doesn't say.
He should have,
it,
dude. That would have been fun.
He should have said it. He would have been immediately like institutionalized, basically.
He decided right there and then.
To release
And
the
because
songs
I
for
didn't
free.
write these songs, they're free. I'm putting them online
Yeah.
for everybody for free
Yeah.
right now. Fuck the
Yeah.
record label.
Go on Pirate Bay.
Fuck
to
my
download
manager. Go to Google Drive.
it. Join this
.com
Discord.
slash.
Join this Discord and individually
Go to my
download these
Discord and download these tracks.
MP4s.
Putting them up for you, the people.
compression.
Because here's the thing. The Beatles, they deserve to be heard by everybody regardless of money because they're the most important band in the world. Everything else pales in comparison.
Everybody goes crazy.
Everybody
The
goes
manager
crazy.
is like
They're
screaming,
like-
"No,
Yeah.
no!" You
Everybody's
betray
like,
me.
yes, I don't have to pay £8 on iTunes. Yes. Yes, I will not cancel my Spotify subscription because there's still other songs I listen to on Spotify. But yes, also I can put them on my phone for free. Yes,
Yes.
let's go.
And then he goes find the woman.
You know
And-
what? Actually, considering the fact that I only listen to music through Spotify and nobody owns these songs, so nobody can really put them on Spotify for a profit, it kind of makes it more difficult for me to listen to them because I need to go out my way to listen to the songs now instead of just loading them up on Spotify like I do everything else. But
I'm gonna
whatever, it's cool.
I'm gonna upload them onto Spotify as myself, and
I'm gonna put them on Spotify, and I'm gonna put.
I'm gonna monetize
them.
Yeah,
Let's go.
Grift.
But then also he's like, also I quit music and I'm gonna
Yeah.
have sex with this girl. Do you want to
This
have sex with me?
girl,
And she's
yeah.
like, yes, I do. Fuck my boyfriend.
Yeah, like it's so
Fuck
fucking.
this
That
guy.
scene is so fucking weird.
Here's
Like
the
they
thing.
meet, and the guy comes out, the partner, like
the
new
guy,
partner,
the
and
guy
goes
with
like,
two random friends we haven't seen before,
Yeah.
a guy and a girl.
and then he goes, I always knew I was number 2 or
Yeah.
whatever. And
But
then
here's the
he,
thing.
like-
Here's the thing, and this was the thing that really made me think about it. Okay, this is the part that like made me go like, you know what? Fuck this movie, because he goes, and you know what? It's fine being number 2.
yeah,
Common People by Pulp. That never made it to number 1. And you know what? I was like, that's the realest shit anybody in this whole movie has said. Common
Yeah.
People by Pulp didn't make it to number 1. And that song is,
Yeah.
honestly, do you know what? Honestly, I think that song is better than any song in the Beatles catalog.
yeah.
Common People by Pulp is a better song than any fucking song that this motherfucker sings in this alternate universe. And even better than any of the performances he does of any of these songs. And that made me think, this movie is fucking... It really is just the antithesis of creative thought, you know?
Yeah.
This whole song, even the people making this whole movie, even the people making this damn movie are fucking stupid. They don't have a single creative bone in their damn body. They come up with a concept like, what if we have a story, what if our premise is, guy goes to a different world, just so happens that a influential artist doesn't exist there, and they can rip them off, you know? What kind of moral issues will they face? What kind of problems will they face? You know, what bringing up evidence, trying to pass this off. What kind of tension will there be? You know, They got to the point where they were like, alternate universe, Beatles don't exist. But then also, what if it was about a guy who didn't realize he was in love with a girl?
Yeah, exactly.
And that's it. That's where they stopped.
Like,
They didn't add any other fucking tension in the film. There's nothing there.
Yeah,
There's nothing there. There's no,
Yeah.
like, the whole point of him... Sorry, I'm really going on a rant here. Whole point of him like giving up the game on the Beatles thing is supposed to show his character growth. It's supposed to show the idea that he's done like not living as himself. He's gonna live truthfully, you know. And like John Lennon said, you gotta accept happiness into your life. You gotta accept that you gotta go for the girl. You have to like push for things like that. You have to accept happiness, you know. You can't just like expect it to come to you. You gotta accept it, you know. You gotta fight for it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, the movie doesn't add any reason for him to give up on the Beatles shtick.
Yeah.
He just needs to say, I love you to the girl.
Yeah,
the Beatles stuff has nothing to do with it.
Exactly, because the only thing that she wants from him is to try for her. You know, like try to
barely
like,
even try.
Her, but like
barely even try. She just wants him to say,
the fact
I accept
that he cares for her.
Exactly.
You know? Like not like I'm not talking like friend for a friend cares, you know,
but like
friends care for each
loves.
other,
If
but,
that he has any sort of passion for her,
exactly,
whatsoever.
and it's just so like in the fact that like at the end he like literally like stereotypically wins the girl, and then like the scene after where they drive to her house and
they drive home and fuck,
just
and it's
the
like, why are you
strange
showing
amount,
me this much?
Yeah, there is just a strange amount of it shown. The fact that like you would like. I don't know. Fucking do an outside shot of the house.
Yeah,
they go
just,
into the
like,
house.
move on.
The light turns on in the bedroom. She like pushes him onto the bed in the window, and then
Not even that. You don't even need that.
something
Just
like that. I don't
cut
know.
to the future
Like,
bit.
make it-
Just cut
yeah.
to the epilogue where it's the future and he's a teacher again, but he's happy. He's got kids.
Yeah.
They're married.
Yeah,
And let me tell you, do you want to know why this motherfucker is lucky that it turns out he doesn't exist in a world without Harry Potter.
Yeah.
Because if you had sex with a girl and then afterwards you were like, oh, I feel like I just Harry Potter and I just beat Voldemort. If that person knew what you were talking about, they'd be like, the fuck?
I want to get it. What the
That
fuck?
would be the immediate ick. She'd be like, I fucking wanted to fuck this guy for 20 years, and that's the first
This is the
thing he
ultimate ick, yeah.
says. That's
It's
the
just-
one, and he's lucky that she's like, who are you talking about? And he's like, oh, I guess Harry Potter doesn't
it
exist.
doesn't matter.
Oh, well.
I'm going to write Harry Potter now.
All right, Harry Potter now.
Yeah.
Dude, but that's the
becomes
thing.
a transphobe. afterwards.
The cultural touchstones of this movie are like completely devoid of creativity.
Yeah, it's
Like the kind of things they reference in this movie are the Beatles, Oasis, and Harry Potter.
Childish Gambino when he
Childish
stuff.
Gambino. Yeah, he like types in
Dope.
Donald Glover. This was like at the height of Donald Glover music too. This is
Yeah.
like this is America, like peak Donald Glover, and that's their cultural reference. That's like their one obscure reference. The most obscure reference they make is probably that or "Common People" by Pulp.
Yeah,
which is one of the more popular songs ever.
Yeah, exactly. And
like, oh fuck, dude, it's just like it's just
the
an
thing is that-
anti-creative movie. Like he instead, because the whole thing is like throughout the movie, people are like, play your song, summer song, you know.
Yeah.
But they treat it like a joke because at the end of the film, it's not like he then goes on and goes like, you know, I'm going to keep being a musician, but I'm going to actually
I'm gonna
maybe
make
put
my
in
own
some
thing,
fucking
yeah.
effort.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, no, all right, I can't top the Beatles stuff, so I'm just gonna give up. I'm gonna be a teacher. I'm gonna settle down with my wife and have kids, and that's it.
Yeah, like
Because there's no topping the Beatles. So
with the in general with the even concept of this movie, like you could do so much with it.
you could. That's why I'm
just, like,
interested in. I
so-
was interested in this movie.
It's because it's an interesting concept, but
It's
then like
you
I don't know,
yeah, I'm
like,
interested in seeing a story about a guy who can rip off somebody easily and get away with it. You know, what kind of narrative and art can you show in that? You know.
Yeah, exactly. You know, and it's like, you could have shown like a story of like, oh, maybe the Beatles wouldn't work in our times anymore. You know, like that's why I thought this kind of movie is going to go for at the beginning, where he like plays the Beatles songs and nobody cares, basically, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, Ed Sheeran fucking hears them on TV and fucking comes around and goes like, "Can I suck you off?
Yeah,
Can I,
if you want to come on tour with me?
Can you come
also-
on me,
oh, it
in
turns
me
out you're
and
even
then
better
come on
than me.
tour with
Yeah,
me?"
I did a show and the headliner was better than me.
Yeah.
Like that's something that would be interesting. There's lots of little points in this movie that you could be like, here's where you could tangent off and say so, have an more interesting story. It
Yeah.
goes back to what I'm saying about Ed Sheeran being evil, but that's such bad form to be like, yeah, I'll headline for you, I'll warm up the crowd, and then like go way harder than the headliner. That's that's like BM, dude. You know, that's like
that is BM.
That should be like that. People should start. It shouldn't be so much like, he's like, I'm ripping off the Beatles. Fuck. It should be like he can only think of like 5 songs, and he starts to come up short. And he's like, fuck, people want more. And unfortunately, I can't remember the song.
We never get to that.
Rigby.
We never get to that.
And it's
so stupid that
it's so boring.
Because it's a hard thing to write around, right? Like it's how do we write a story around this?
Like I said, anti-creative. You have to think a little bit more.
Yeah, exactly. You would have to think a little bit more.
Instead they just write Ed Sheeran sucking them off more.
Yeah,
you know?
Instead of having the actual, there being like an actual, story, let's say that, and not him literally
any sort of
the
like
Beatles songs having hypnotic ability,
any sort of like external tension. It's all internal tension for the character who's just like, oh, is this right? Should I be ripping off the Beatles?
Yeah,
and it's like, yeah, why not? Fuck it.
Yeah.
The only reason you shouldn't is because within the universe of this movie, within this world, the Beatles are a holy power.
Yeah.
That's the only reason it's wrong. Is
There's
because
a
within
scene
this
where-
world is that the Beatles are divine.
There would be a scene where he he goes like before the final concert, goes to the church, he prays, and then he looks at Jesus crucified on the cross, and he goes, "Wait, that's Paul McCartney."
Yeah, dude, that would be crazy.
That
if it
would
was
be
all jumbled up.
crazy, Like anything, some shit.
Anything
Like
at
there's so
all,
much
anything.
more. Like, cause that's the thing. It's like it's a very interesting because I bet that was like some coked out executive that like said that, and there was another coked out executive there like going like, "Bro, like that's awesome. Like that's such a good idea." And then they had nobody else around them that like had any sort of like good ideas, to actually take it somewhere. It's like, yeah, there's just like, I don't know, I thought like, and thematically in terms of just like messaging, like what the fuck is this even movie about?
Mhm.
Don't steal someone else's work that doesn't exist,
I guess.
Be true to yourself, but
Be
then
true
don't
to
become a
yourself.
musician. Just become a student.
Be true to yourself,
a
but
teacher.
if people don't like your music, give up.
Give up.
Get
Yeah,
over it.
I was like, I was thinking like maybe like what if there was a story that he wasn't a musician, and he was like, oh, I
He
have like
taught
this
himself.
grift.
He's like, fuck,
Yeah, like I'm a grift.
All I need to
Uh,
do is learn how to play some chords on the guitar. Okay.
Yeah, and then he like learns through the process of learning and stuff. He like realizes he really likes making music or something like that. He discovers himself through that, and then he maybe attempts to make songs like the Beatles, but then he realizes I've got a little bit of a different style, and then he makes his own and he becomes successful that way, maybe, something like that. That's like I feel like it's more of a, like a better message to send than this fucking movie.
This is honestly, I think this is similar to the Picard season 2. It's got a similar feeling in my heart where it's like, I think this is an evil movie. I think this is evil. I think this is the antithesis of what I believe to be true in life. It tries to fight the things that I believe are universal truths. The inherent joy that can come from creative pursuits,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like
the idea of art for art and not as a means of making money. You know,
I was
it's
I was thinking.
Fucking hell.
I was thinking maybe they'll do like a commentary where like he goes to like Hollywood, right? They California, they start doing fucking LA shit, and that's what ruins the music,
Yeah, he starts
Like,
to go a bit crazy.
They got not just him, but maybe the producers in the room like, oh, what if it goes like this, and it goes like rain, boom, boom, and it puts dubstep in there or something like very like you're over the top, let's say that even like, and he's like, no, but then because he's such a shitty creative, right? He kind of just copies other people's music, right? he doesn't really have a leg to stand on, anymore. Or, it's like, something like that. It's so much like someone like they could have literally the conflict between him and the manager is like non-existing, right? Because she's like. She says bad things to her, but she doesn't stop him in anything.
She's just a comedic relief character.
Yeah, she's a comedic relief character, but she
says
doesn't.
Funny things. She's Kate McKinnon.
She doesn't really fuck him over in any way,
No. In fact, it's the thing. There's no reason for him to decide to give up the game at the end.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There's no. Like I just kept saying while we were recapping the story. There's no consequences.
Mm-hmm.
Internal or external, ultimately. Like,
yeah.
It's not like he even cares about his own... It's not like I'm forsaking my own creative pursuits for money to make the Beatles stuff. Because he just gives up afterwards. He doesn't even keep trying to pursue it. There's no reason for him to stop doing the Beatles shit.
Yeah.
He does
it for the
stupid.
kids.
It's
he does it for
stupid.
the kids.
Yeah, he starts singing Obla Di Obla Da for the kids.
For the kids.
I gotta become a teacher. It's fucking bad, dude. This is I can't. I watched it and I was like, it's a competently made movie, but it's kind of just boring conceptually, or it's boring in execution. And I think the concept is kind of interesting, but now I hate it. And the more of listening to the Magical Mystery Tour and just thinking about that movie more, I'm like, fuck this. I almost don't like the Beatles because of how much of a pedestal they're put on,
Yeah.
I don't want to be too much of a, or I don't like it because other people like it kind of guy. But the movie highlights that people hold stuff like this to too insanely high of a degree.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's generally harmful for the creative pursuits of humanity, the way we as a society perceive the idea of creativity in this way, because a lot of people do see it like that. Like, why bother doing that if I can't get good and make money off of it?
Mm-hmm.
This movie posits that it's like, yeah, if you can't make money off of it, don't do it.
Yeah,
you should only do something if you can make money off of it.
Yeah.
And if you can't make money off of it, fucking stop.
It's a very sad
Do something
way
else.
to see creativity.
It is. It's so sad.
And boiling it down to this very empty feeling, Yeah.
What do the people say about yesterday?
Oh, you have to go.
Let me look at some professional reviews. I'm not going to make fun of the 89% audience score. let's look at some professional reviews that we can lampoon. Director
David
Danny
Bowie.
Boyle, Slumdog Millionaire, and screenwriter Richard Curtis have divergent cinematic sensibilities, but they meld well enough in this bittersweet, slightly wacky musical fantasy rom-com. I guess that's it at the end of the day. It's just a rom-com, isn't it? It's just like, it's a guy, he doesn't realize he's in love with a girl, and the girl's like, why don't you love me? And he's like, I can't love you, I have to sing the Beatles, and you don't know what the Beatles is. I need to sing the Beatles. It's a higher calling. I have been given... Dude, how fucked up is it to be the other...
Yeah.
How fucked up is it to be the other Jack Malik in this situation, getting teleported to the world with the Beatles?
Mm-hmm.
Now you're basically even worse off.
Yeah.
Now you've been transported to a world where you could maybe at least have a chance because there was no Beatles, but now, sorry, there's even better music in this world. Yeah. Unfortunately, you're fucked, bro. And you want to know what? You're probably thinking, well, at least there's no Ed Sheeran. Sorry, we've got him too.
Sorry about that.
Sorry, brother.
And he's
we've
alive
got
in this
too.
one. But but in general, just fuck me. There's just so much he tries to make the music. People don't like it. He feels guilty that people don't like it because he feels that his creative process is tainting the music in some way.
Anything. Just think.
He's
for
questioning
more than
his
5 seconds.
Ability to create music, or something like that. It's I don't fucking know, just anything else but this.
It could you could explore the idea of creative inspiration and stuff as well. It's you could have the issue of him not knowing where his own input ends and the Beatles begins,
Yeah,
At what point is he making the Beatles, or is it like a Ship of Theseus thing where maybe he is putting it more of his own spin on it?
Yeah, because it's
And
all
that's
acoustic.
making
It's
it more
just him.
interesting. It's just acoustic.
It's just the
so-
fucking him.
it's just
That's the weirdest part about this movie is because I was thinking that he's gonna like try to find some people,
Oh man.
you know.
He
But
needs
then
to
it
find
turns
his
out
own
like
Paul, Ringo, and
yeah,
George.
he goes to like the fucking like concert and there's just like random musicians there like playing the drums and stuff. And I was like, okay, like I guess they just hired some people, right, to be like the doing the backing stuff for him. And it feels actually that's funny. It feels actually a little kind of he's like, I'm not gonna, this is pulling up the ladder, you know. He was like, I'm not letting 3 more guys. What? I'm gonna take it all, you know.
I
I'm gonna
can just do it
fucking
myself, bro.
I can do it myself, you know.
Because me being transported here made me realize that it has nothing to do with the band. It's the songs. It's it sonically massages the brain.
Yeah.
These songs, the
It-
chord
it-
progression is
Yeah.
done in such a way that when somebody
Yeah.
hears it's like a micro lobotomy.
Yeah, it stimulates the amygdala in the brain, and
It
it
does.
releases the endorphins directly into
They
your
are bloodstream. They are musical drugs. It's musical
Yeah,
drugs. At the
they're
end of the day.
musical
Like that's
drugs.
the real thing with the Beatles is that they
Mhm.
discovered sonically how to create drugs with music.
Yeah, the Star Trek episode, they find a planet. Turns out the disc that they send of the Beatles albums lands on the planet, becomes a drug on that planet, and then they have to wane people off of the Beatles by introducing other music to them, an anti-drug to them of some sort, which is I don't know. What's
Awful
an
lot
anti?
of comparisons I'm seeing on Wikipedia.
What's an anti-Beatles music?
Something good, probably. Hey, we'll leave it on that. You know what? I think that's a good one to leave it on. This is our longest episode.
Yeah, it has been the
We
longest.
shouldn't have talked about shit at the
yeah.
beginning, bro. We should have just
Yeah,
went straight into
just
it. I didn't
went
think we
straight
would
to
go. I thought like
Yes.
maybe a half hour at max.
Yesterday, all my troubles
feel so far away. Now it
Yeah.
looks as though they're here to stay. Oh, I believe in yesterday. Suddenly, yeah.
I had a blackout that happened a second ago. What is this beautiful song you're singing?
Oh, you don't know? Well, let's just say it's my own original song. Yesterday,
Oh,
by
you
Ben.
should- yeah. I'm gonna kill myself now because I'm never gonna
You
hear
should, you
anything
should.
as beautiful.
You'll never
as
hear
this.
anything as good as that, and you'll never be able to make anything as good as that. You should die now. You should either resign all motivation, all desire in your life, or kill yourself. Those are your 2 options. Because unfortunately, I played yesterday and I've never heard it before.
Yeah. It's
It's a
great.
good thing he never. It's a good thing he only went Beatles and didn't go like any of the solo stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Imagine, dude. You imagine if he brought out Imagine?
Ooh,
It would have killed that world.
It would have.
They would have never thought about that, but they would have been like, "Fuck! I never imagined all the people."
But the thing is that, like, you know, because it's like what he doesn't realize is because he wrote all these like albums, all of the best albums of the Beatles within like a year, while the Beatles were releasing every like, you know, for 2, depending on the later on they were releasing a little bit less often. What he doesn't realize that people would overdose on the Beatles
People
from the
would
amount
overdose.
of they would literally die from the amount.
They
like
would.
people would
They
people
would turn
realize,
people's brains into mush,
yeah, people would be like
leaking out their damn ears.
He would finish the music. He would run out of Beatles songs, and they were like, "Man, have you got any of that good
need-
stuff?"
They'd
And they
be
would like scratching
they'd
their
be
sense-
scratching
yeah.
their head.
Yeah.
They'd be like,
Yeah.
I mean, you got any more of those songs, man? You got any
He's
more
like,
of those acoustic solos? I need.
And then it becomes 28 days later.
Ooh,
and-
Danny Boyle, 28 years later, we've got the in. Train Spotting. Ever thought about maybe it's Train Spotting prequel? What if instead of heroin it was the Beatles? Not a dog shit. Fuck you. If you were involved in this movie in any major sense, end of sentence. I'm casting no judgment on you. I don't. Maybe you were just cashing a paycheck. If you're Danny Boyle, this one sucked. You know what, brother? I'm not looking forward to 28 years later. I like 28 Days Later. It's a cool movie. I don't know about this one now.
Is it Danny Boyle? Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't
Isn't
matter.
he what?
It doesn't matter.
Isn't he what?
It doesn't matter.
Okay, all right.
It was. It is. No, I don't want to.
If you'd like to go to an alternate dimension where this podcast doesn't exist and release it and receive no fame whatsoever, then remember the name of the show is Dead Ensigns. I've been Ben. This has been Max.
Yeah.
Make sure to upload the podcast in the alternate timeline, not in this one, to Spotify, where you can find this. Amazon Music, iTunes, other stuff, YouTube, we're there too. Comment if you want.
Remember, the EULA you have accepted to listen to this also includes multi-dimensional copyright, so you can't.
Correct.
You
can't do
copy
this. We will make sure that there are agents who remember us in that world, and instead of meeting you and saying thank you, you're doing the world a service, they will shoot you in the head.
They will shoot you. Yeah.
They will kill you.
They will mark David
will
Chapman you in the streets. Yes.
Yep. And then they will find us in that world, and they will get us to start, and then we have once again found another universe to release a podcast that nobody listens to. Yep. Thanks for listening.
Right.
Make sure to send us an email or write a comment on the YouTube. Subscribe if you want. Rate it. You know what? Subscribe. I command you psychically with my Beatles magic.
Subscribe.
Yesterday,
Oh, my troubles.
you should have been subscribing to us. Now it looks like you're subscribing now. Oh, I think you should subscribe.
Like the video.
Suddenly, all my videos seem liked by fans. Now I'm gonna stop recording. Bye. Enjoy. Yesterday.
Bye.
It's shorted out, sir. We're gonna have to phaser it.
Then what are you waiting for?
Right away, sir.
Faster would be better, Ensign.
I can't, sir. We don't want to...
That's enough.
But, sir...
Stand aside, Carlton. I'm going through. You're alive. Good.